Hello, everyone, and welcome to Beefcake number 28. I, of course, am Wilson Horrell, and I have my morning beef for you, where I had a guest in the studio, and then we'll get to introducing my co-host, who hopefully will be able to explain some of this madness, who's done a terrible job of giving up the information that we all want to know as far as the animosity that these people have for him. And we also have a special surprise for you, so tune in.
Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in. Yeah, let me say it, yeah. Let me say it out loud. In my moment of glory. Yeah, no, I'm living in a nightmare. And I am the cream. On balance, off balance, doesn't matter. I'm better than you are, yeah. And nothing is gonna stop me. Nothing's gonna stop me. Nothing, zero, yeah. Pure athlete, yeah. And I've been, grind from the top to the bottom. The cream of the crop. Nobody does it better.
That guy. I don't even know these guys' names anymore.
You will be burnt at the stake. You can't say you don't know who that is.
No.
So you're not. You have no story to explain the madness.
Honestly, there's nobody better than that guy.
Oh my gosh, that's Randy Macho Man Savage. Listen to what we have going on. Listen to the treat that we have today. We have Ms. Paige Stivers as a guest co-host. How awesome is that?
Paige.
Welcome, Paige.
Hey, Wilson. Hey, Vaughn.
Thanks for being on here with us.
Wait a minute. We didn't shout out to the person that suggested the song, which is my favorite song that has been played as of yet.
Well, let's shout out to her.
Yeah, shout out to Lacey for a little bit of Cage the Elephant.
At Ms. Lacey, LACEY 14. At Ms. Lacey 14. And that was Lacey. I would butcher her last name, so I'm not even going to try it. But she is responsible for Shake Me Down by Cage the Elephant, which I had never heard before.
That's just as bad as me not knowing the names of the wrestlers.
Not quite as bad. Not living in Memphis, Tennessee, brother. Paige, do you agree with that?
Yes, that's like so bad.
That's not even the same state.
I need to start going to wrestling. You know, we have wrestling.
Yeah, no shit. No kidding, we have wrestling.
Spirit was born.
All right, well, let's get on with the blog. The blog today is about two kinds of people. And I'm going to tell you something, and Vaughn, you'll appreciate it. Paige, you may hang up or at least roll your eyes. I got to tell you what I've been doing. I've been listening to Tony Robbins. I love that guy.
Was that a snort?
No, that was the chair creaking.
I thought she giggled. She's like laughing at you.
Do you know Tony Robbins, Paige?
Yes, I do.
And you're not with me on this.
I'll wait to hear what you got to say.
I love the guy. I think he's great. Anyways,
He's very motivational.
Here's what he said. He said there's two kinds of people. There's people who think that everything's a beginning, and there's people that think that everything's an end.
I agree with that.
And it's up to you to choose which side you want to be on. And I start the blog talking about how I need certainty. I'm a person that needs things in black and white, because if you give me a gray area, then I will turn that into a rainbow of problems. Like if I don't have certainty, if things go a little off track, I am a nightmare. Hence the problem I had with you today, Paige. I was taking my kids to have their eyes examined, and I thought I was going to be late. And I thought, I've already scheduled this with Paige and with Vaughn, and Paige is military. So she is going to really think that I'm a total loser because I can't even make my appointments on time. And I just go through a lot. I need things to be my way, black and white. I don't need to make decisions. I need decisions to be made for me.
And I'm the complete opposite.
You are the complete opposite.
I'm the anti-Wilson.
You would make it great in the military, then, Wilson.
You think I would?
Yeah. If you can take orders.
Well, that's a problem.
Oh, no, that's not what he just said. That doesn't work at all.
The order part doesn't go well. Well, maybe I would probably have a much smoother life if I could take orders and be on time to things and be, I don't consider myself a structured person, and I'm not a planner. Which is strange. So I kind of fly by the seat of my pants, but I need things to go a certain way. And if they don't go a certain way, then I'm all out of whack, which is another thing that Tony Robbins said. People say they like surprises, but what they like is surprises that they enjoy. Surprises that they don't want, those are problems.
Controlled surprises.
Controlled surprises. So, Paige, can you adapt and adjust based on the information that's put in front of you?
That's what we're taught to do in the military. Yeah. We prepare and we train. That's all what we do in the military, especially Guard. So, we're prepared to be ready for whatever comes at us.
And have you always learned this way, or did the military teach you to be like this?
Well, me personally, I'm kind of curious. I have that childlike curiosity all the time. So I'm a little bit of an open door, but I am very structured kind of person. But when I got in the military, that structured part of me really took off. That's why I love the military so much, is being able to know kind of what's coming at me. My routine as a firefighter, though, is very different every day. So it kind of one and the same, kind of. I mean, some days I'm able to kind of adjust with the routine, and some days I just don't, just depending on what's going on at home and, hey, working out at Olive Branch CrossFit.
Well, I've grown up pretty fearful. Like I've always been. Every time there's change, I feel like that change is going to be bad. I feel like something's about to be taken away from me. And so I overreact to change because I just assume that the change is going to be negative, or at least I have most of my life. And I'm also afraid that with that change, I'm going to be discovered. I've always had this feeling that like I'm a phony, like a Wizard of Oz, like the curtain's going to be pulled back and everybody's going to see like, what I really am. I'm going to be exposed, and everybody at the same time is going to be like, what a loser. Like, let's get rid of that guy.
Hey, that's my personal hell in my Myers-Briggs profile. My worst fear is that all the thoughts in my head are immediately exposed to everybody, and immediately everybody thinks I'm dumb.
Is it really? That's interesting.
Yeah. So I'm surprised to hear you say that, because you scored the extrovert when you took that test. So I'm kind of surprised to hear you say that.
Well, I'm definitely an extrovert, but I don't want my thoughts being extroverted. I don't want my insides coming out for everybody to see, because then I'm afraid that they'll know what I am, and that won't be good.
We should probably study that a little more.
Yeah, well, that's your assignment for today. Go home and do that. Well, so anyways, I'm working on embracing changes and embracing problems and embracing situations today versus running away from them. And I find that I really like assuming that things are going to be okay. I think that I'm enjoying not seeing change as being something so threatening. I'm also wanting to believe that change can be something that it's a skill that you can learn to get better as time goes by. Because I needed change. Change is what sculpted me. Change is what got me here. The pain is what created a different type person. And so anybody who doesn't experience that pain, I would imagine, wouldn't get the benefits of that.
Yeah. So what you're saying is you're working on getting better at dealing with change that comes up.
And
what you're saying?
I'm working on embracing it as opposed to trying to avoid it by staying still.
Gotcha.
Because the growth hurts. Growth does hurt, don't get me wrong, but nothing hurts or sucks as bad as just standing there and getting the hell pummeled out of you.
Being scared still.
Right. I was scared still for probably a decade.
So how do you put action to being afraid?
Well, that's what I'm learning. Somebody like you probably takes action on just about everything that comes your direction. Am I correct?
Pretty much. Reacting when you're scared, but relying on your training and the habits you form through training and repetition.
Is most of your life in the outside of the military? Now you're in the Air Force, correct?
Correct.
Is most of your everyday life, do you function because of what you learned in the Air Force? I mean, do you take your Air Force education and apply that to other areas of your life?
Oh, yes, definitely. Even in my family life. Cleanliness, even working out.
Are you an optimist?
It depends on the situation. Most of the time I am. I think so.
Are you a realist
Yes,
to a fault?
probably. Yes.
I can be
Yeah.
optimistic to a fault.
I'd rather someone shoot me straight and it hurt me up front and then me deal with it afterwards and then try to cope with it.
I say that, but I don't want anybody to shoot me straight. Not unless whatever they're shooting is like really nice and complimentary. I'm like, I tell it like it is, man, and I'm real, and I can handle the truth. And then if somebody tells me the truth, I'm like, why the hell did they just say that? I'm so hurt. My feelings are hurt. I'm strong. I'm tough. I can handle that.
I feel like you do that even when the thing that people are saying really isn't that bad. Even
Hell, it can be a compliment.
right.
And I'm still like, what did they really mean by that?
You're an overanalyzer.
Oh my God. Unbelievably overly analytic. But and even analyzing sounds like there's some logic. But I think too much. I don't even analyze. Analyzing would be like in an effort to come up with a conclusion. Well, all I'm doing is spinning wheels and not getting anywhere.
It's just another delay.
The reason that I even came up with this post was because of what I've observed, in regards to change and the opportunity for growth and what we're going through now as a country. And I don't even want to use the term politics, but I guess it is about politics. I want to be a guy that never talks about politics, but here we are. I just think that right now there's such an opportunity for optimism, excitement, growth, just making a change and doing better things. On the same token, there's also an opportunity for pessimism, rage, and fear. And I think that we have the choice right now as to which one of those we're going to cultivate and which one of those we're going to grow.
And which one do you think people prefer?
I think people prefer the pessimism, rage, and fear not because they're bad people, but because I don't think that they understand what can come from being overly optimistic and trying to make a change in a positive way.
Or try not to overanalyze something by listening to the media or something.
That's right. Or try not to overanalyze everything that goes onto Facebook, most of which is not true to begin with. I compare it to the Rocky movie. What Vaughn told me earlier was basically the hero's journey. That's what we want. We want the good fight. We want to be the underdog. We want the down day. We want the dark days. We want the journey. And then we want to see victory. Nobody goes to see movies about people that are born into wealthy families and are raised wealthy and successful and stay successful and die successful. Nobody even wants to hear about that. We want to see people get beat down to the ground and then rise from the ashes. But yet, we don't want to be that person. We go to the movies and pretend like we're that person, and we get the goosebumps because we are that person for the time that we're sitting in the theater. But yet, we really don't want to go through the discomfort you have to go through in order to be that person.
Well, I feel like people don't realize that. I think you're right. Number one, that people want that struggle. At the same time, I feel like most people don't recognize that the end of that hero's journey is you to take that struggle and use it to be better the next time you go through something. People don't get that. Like they're just continuously going through these terrible things and just never take anything from it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that what you're saying is they go through these struggles and then wonder why me, instead of going through the struggle and taking something from it and applying it to the next struggle or possibly avoiding it.
Right. They don't say, well, wow, last time this terrible thing happened to me, look what came out of it and look what I was able to do. That piece is missing. It's just from one little ball of trauma to the next, one after the other, instead of taking anything from it.
Well, I think that now more than ever, we have the opportunity to build the backdrop, to set the stage, to do great things, to do positive things, to do things that are influential, that people will will listen to. For whatever reason, people will listen to just about anything and get in line to follow it. I just got to thinking about what do I want my backdrop to be? What do I want my life to look like if someone was going to go to the theater and watch it? And I hope that my storyline is better than a guy that that gets on Facebook and makes name calling and blanketed statements, and just I don't want to be a crappy Rocky movie.
You don't want to be a crappy Rocky movie.
I want to do everything I can to avoid being a crappy Rocky movie.
It's gonna be a wrestling movie anyways, right?
And I want it to be a wrestling movie, and I want to be played by Macho Man Randy Savage. And I don't think that's asking too much. Y'all are laughing as if the Macho Man wouldn't portray a good version of me, but I think that he would.
I absolutely believe that he would do it, and that it would be awesome.
Paige, I believe it.
Do you think he would do it?
Yes.
Paige, who do you think should portray me in a movie?
Oh my gosh.
Shoot me straight. I can handle it.
You could grow your hair out a little bit. You could get close to Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah. See there? Vaughn, you want to say something nice, or are you going to, do I even want the truth from you?
Iceman.
Iceman. That would be good.
See you all day.
So Paige, how have you handled, have you gone through anything in your life that profoundly impacted how you react to change? Because you strike me as somebody that if it was going to hit the fan, I would lateral it back to you as quickly as possible and let you handle whatever was in front of us, as opposed to me saying, I want to take this bull by the horns, because you strike me as a bull by the horns kind of person.
Is that just because I'm a runner and you could see me just running across the room at somebody like full force and just take them down?
Well, there's part of that. I mean, there's part of that fitness level badassery, but there's also that just, calculated, logical side of you. And I've known you since we were freshmen in high school?
Oh yeah.
And you've always had a level of calm and, almost an authoritative feel about you.
Wow. That's a very insightful perception. I'm glad you see that. I think it's kind of matured over the years since high school. Definitely. I've had one or two incidences that really shaped me after leaving high school. One being my college experience. And then, of course, my second experience is being in the military. So I've definitely had many losses within both of those two stages of my life. And if I didn't have some of those losses, I don't think I'd be where I'm at right now. I would have never learned what I know now. And I've still got lots to learn. And I assume I have lots more to lose, unfortunately. I don't think I've always been like that, though. I've always been the type of person where I do like to sit back and listen more than the average person. I think a lot of people talk or conversate more than me, and then they stir themselves up so high that they're like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. I like to sit back a little bit, catch my breath, think about it, and then just go for it. That's the type of person I am. But that's come out of many things happening to me in my life. I've not always been like that.
So you assess the situation. You can stop, take it all in, assess the situation, and then take action based on that.
And I'm saying that, I'm midway in my life. I'm saying that now with a little bit of maturity behind me. I hope it's maturity. When I was younger, I wouldn't have been like that. I would have just jumped right into it and say, I'm going to fix it now, and find myself in a struggle, and I'll probably drown halfway through it. Now I sit back, and I know a lot of people depend on me and my family, and here at work, I'm a manager, so I have to manage people, and they depend on me to make the right decision. So I have to sit back and make a calculated decision so it's the good for everyone, just not myself.
Yeah, I get information, and then I immediately freak out. I try to set myself on fire and run around in circles, and I just have to have that time to kind of, like a wind-up doll or something that just runs around, and then I can eventually come back to it and see the opportunity and see the good in the situation. But while I'm going through it, no matter how small, if it wasn't according to my plan, I have a real hard time accepting it. And Vaughn, you don't need a plan at all.
Yeah, No, that's true. I don't necessarily need a plan. It just depends on the situation, I suppose.
Oh, I think I was writing to you earlier, Wilson, about the whole scientific method thing. I think that's where I get some of my planned out things in my life, where I kind of go through that scientific method. It's like a process. I've learned to be like that now that I've gotten a little bit older. I'm not just like scattered and all over the place, because when I was younger, I used to be so exhausted from all that process. So if I'm more, logical process with that scientific method where I develop what I'm going to really go for, and then I get to the end where I've reached my goal, then I feel like I've accomplished something, and then I can move on and grow. But if I don't follow that logical path, I'm all over the place.
What is your logical path?
Well, it depends on the situation.
I'm thinking that scientific process is supposed to be something that I learned in school, right? Because I don't know what it is.
Yep. It's
It involves the term hypothesis, right?
It does. It's a 6-step process, and scientists use it to perform an experiment, I guess. You don't ever remember that in like 6th grade?
Nope.
Where did you go to school?
I did a science project one time on how white construction paper would be less hot than black construction paper if put out on the sun. And so I took thermometers and put them on the construction paper to see what the difference in temperatures was going to be. But there really wasn't a whole lot of difference, so I just made up the numbers.
Cool story, bro. You had a hypothesis. And
Tell me about your best science project.
My best science project was making, I'll never forget, I waited till the very last minute I could possibly wait to do it. I was supposed to make a solar system, like a diagram of the solar system.
Oh, yeah.
And I went to Walgreens and bought a bag of eyeball on those gum, that are eyeballs. This must have been around Halloween. But you know what I'm talking about? It looks like an eyeball. And I just used those as planets and stuff, and that was it. They were like running together. It was great. I'm sure I failed it, but it was awesome.
I'm sure I failed it, but it was awesome. What about you, Paige?
Eyeball gum.
I don't. All I remember about science class is dissecting animals. I don't even remember some of the other lab stuff like that. I really don't.
I remember going on a trip. I'm not even going to go into that. Anyways, Vaughn, why don't you tell them about your deadlift program that you have and your hypothesis in regards to deadlifting?
The hypothesis is that you can get into the 50-mile, 400-pound deadlift club or 300-pound deadlift club if you're a lady. You can go to liftheavyrunlong.com/deadlift to find out all about that program. It's a 3-month program. I will provide you with 3 workouts per week that you can add to your training, no matter what you're doing, running, CrossFit, whatever, that will make you strong and get that deadlift number up to where you want it to be.
And you can come see us at Lift Run Long on Twitter and Instagram. And our music, as always, is by Ted Horrell and the Monday Night Card. And Paige, we appreciate you taking the time to be on the show, and we'll do it again soon.
Yes, thank you.
I'm excited. See you then.
Y'all have a good day.
All right.
Lately,
Later.
I just don't know what to say. Everything I say's been said before.